Next up, we have Sheriff candidate John Gardner. John? Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Republicans, and honorable veterans, my name is John Gardner, and I'm a Republican candidate for the office of Effingham County Sheriff. Before I begin, I'd like to just mention the veterans in our audience today. As a proud parent of a combat veteran who served in both Iraq and Afghanistan, I surely appreciate the sacrifices that you have made. Thank you very much. My wife Shelley and I will be celebrating our 30th anniversary in just a few short weeks. We live in rural Effingham County near Green Creek. We have 2 grown children and 1 grandchild. I graduated from Chautauquas High School in 1977 and from Lakeland College in 1980 with an associate's degree in law enforcement. I began my law enforcement career with the Effingham County Sheriff's Department in 1980. I then retired from the Illinois State Police with nearly 27 years of service with the rank of Master Sergeant. During my career, I was a field supervisor, a platoon commander, and I served briefly as the District 12 Operations Commander in an acting lieutenant's position and was responsible for directing the activities of nearly 50 sworn officers and civilian employees within the 10-county District 12 area. I'm the only sheriff's candidate with that type of experience supervising that many officers in that large of an area. So why am I here? Why did I decide to give up the retired life and seek the position of Effingham County Sheriff? A second pension, perhaps? No, I will not take a second pension. Let me give you just a few of the reasons why. The Honorable Sheriff John Monette is not seeking re-election. We thank him for his years of service to the citizens of Effingham County, and a new sheriff is to be elected. The next sheriff who is elected will have to maintain 2 qualities: leadership and accountability. Leadership to direct the personnel of the Sheriff's Department into the activities that will assure the citizens of Effingham County that their Sheriff's Department is doing its utmost best to protect their family and their property. Accountability, a word taken lightly by many of today's politicians. Accountability has to be maintained at every level of the Sheriff's Department, and the Sheriff is ultimately responsible and accountable to you, the taxpayer. It flows through each rank and supervisory role all the way to the Sheriff. The Sheriff must ensure that while fulfilling his duties, the taxpayers' dollars are spent wisely. As a former president and CEO of a very successful Effingham business, I am keenly aware of operating budgets and other administrative functions. My experience in the private sector, combined with my administrative law enforcement experience, makes me the most qualified candidate for the Sheriff of Effingham County. As Sheriff, I would bring my leadership experience to the office of Effingham County Sheriff, and I would always remain accountable to you, the taxpayer. I've seen many police officers who don't take the time to sit down and talk with a citizen about an issue they have. In the end, that citizen left thinking that the old stereotypes must be true. He doesn't care. I don't have money, so it's not important. You know the ones. Here's the way I've always felt about that. If it wasn't important to them, they wouldn't have bothered to call or come in, would they? The best way I can explain my philosophy on how to deal with the public would be this. Treat every person, no matter what the circumstance, whether it be a disabled vehicle, a criminal complaint, a traffic complaint, treat that person the way you would want yourself or a family member of yours to be treated by a police officer in the same situation. As a law enforcement administrator with the Illinois State Police, I not only practiced that, I demanded the same from my subordinates. I would bring that philosophy to the Effingham County Sheriff's Department. As Sheriff, I would maintain my accountability to the public through the use of town hall and or open office meetings and the interactive social medias. A final issue I would like to touch on in my brief time is the concealed carry issue. We've all heard from the head of various law enforcement agencies or police organizations that their rank and file officers don't want concealed carry. The leaders of these organizations may have those opinions, but I can assure you the rank and file officers do not share those opinions. As a police officer for nearly 30 years, I have never had any fear of a law-abiding citizen being in possession of a firearm, period. I've also never understood the mentality of creating a criminal record for a law-abiding citizen who just happens to be exercising their Second Amendment rights. On several occasions, I've come in contact with law-abiding citizens whose only crime would have been that they were carrying a loaded firearm in Illinois. After verifying they were not felons and that the firearm was legally possessed, I said, look, let's take this and put this in the trunk. Let's leave it in the trunk until you're out of Illinois, because trust me, there are officers out there who will take you to jail for this. Without the Second Amendment, these other amendments are useless. A huge influence on my decision to run for sheriff were those brave county sheriffs in Colorado who stood with their citizens against the state legislature when more of the same feel-good anti-firearm legislation was passed. Those sheriffs are true patriots. I took an oath as an Effingham County Deputy Sheriff and again as an Illinois State Trooper to protect and defend the Constitution. An unconstitutional law is not a law. I have not been released from those oaths, and I will abide by them, so help me God. Thank you.